What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne, coming back at you with another video. Today we're here at Atlanta Classic Cars to review the all-new 2017 Mercedes-Benz E300. This is considered the 10th generation E-Class, and one of the first things you're going to notice is that this car is a lot sleeker, a lot curvier than the previous outgoing generation E-Class. So today we're going to go over some of the exterior and interior details and see how this brand new ride has been engineered for excellence. Now, I want to start off by talking to you about some of the most basic exterior features of this 10th generation E-Class. Now, this particular model is 2 inches longer than the outgoing generation, and that's coming from the wheelbase. Now, a longer wheelbase is going to help aid you in getting additional legroom in the rear seats. This car is also 2.6 inches wider than the previous generation. Now, the body structure of this car is composed of 40% aluminum, and the remaining percentage is going to high strength steel and ultra high strength steel. So that 40% aluminum is going to result in a weight reduction over the previous generation, and weight reduction means greater fuel economy. Now, as I previously mentioned, this car is a lot less boxier than the outgoing generation E-Class. In fact, you might have noticed that it looks similar to the current C-Class and the current S-Class, as it incorporates Mercedes-Benz's latest design language, which features large, bold lines that go across the car with a slight curve. It looks pretty good in my opinion. The all-new E-Class gets a 4-wheel independent suspension with a 4-link front axle and a 5-arm multi-link design in the rear. Now, each shock incorporates the use of valves, which can firm up during strong body motions for increased stability. Now, this particular example of the E-Class gets 18-inch AMG 5-spoke alloy wheels that come wrapped in Goodyears that are 245s in the front and rear. Now, this particular model is fitted with the optional perforated brake rotors up front that get Mercedes-Benz lettering on the front calipers. Coming towards the rear of the E-Class, you'll notice it's way more sloped than the previous generation, which was more upright. Those rectangular tail lamps of the previous generation are gone, and what you're going to find are tail lamps that are kind of resemblant to what you find on the current generation C-Class, except there's a minor change. Mercedes-Benz calls this the Stardust effect. It looks pretty awesome at night. Now comes the time where we talk about one of the most important aspects of the E300, the motor. So once you open the hood, you're going to find a 2-liter 4-cylinder which produces 241 horsepower at 5,500 RPM. It also produces 273 pound-feet of torque at a very low 1,300 RPM, and that stays flat all the way to 4,000 RPM. This motor gets 22 miles per gallon city and 30 miles per gallon highway. It's connected to a 9G Tronic transmission, which overall is lighter and more versatile than the transmission found in the outgoing generation. It's capable of 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.2 seconds. So now that we've covered what's under the hood, let's close it and talk about the car's interior. The interior of the all-new 2017 E300 is obviously inspired by its bigger brother, the S-Class, but there are absolutely no complaints from me. This is pretty nice. So what we have here is a light leather called macchiato beige, and it looks pretty nice. And then you have black accents on the dash and door panels, and then a nice wood trim going all around the car. So starting with the top of the dash, black leather as I stated before, but coming further down, you have 2 large 12.3-inch high-resolution screens here. And we'll cover that in a little bit more detail a little later in the review. So coming further down, a nice large wood trim here with 4 air conditioning vents. Then you have your controls for your air conditioning, controls for navigation, radio, media, etc. There's a clock here, and then hazards and telephone controls. Press down on this panel, you have 2 cup holders. And then coming further back, you have controls for your infotainment system. Coming further back, you have storage here, and I want to mention that you have 2 USB ports here and then an SD card slot in there as well. Let's focus on the center cluster of buttons here. So here you have your dynamic select controls, which allows you to switch between the car's different modes such as individual, sport plus, sport, comfort, and eco. And what this does is control the suspension, engine, and transmission mappings. So you would adjust it depending on what mood you're in. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you'd have it in Sport Plus. If you want to cruise, you just have it in Comfort mode. But if you want to mix the settings, you can put it in individual mode. Coming further back, you have your button for your Parktronic, which is your parking sensors. Further back is your Parking Pilot, which allows the vehicle to search for a parking space and park for you. This is your Eco mode. This is your volume controls here. And then this is the power button for your infotainment system in general. And you can use this trackpad to control your infotainment system as well. Okay, let's focus on this 12.3-inch display screen. It's pretty easy to use. So we can scroll over to Vehicle, press down, and then you have different menus here. So let me go into the Seats menu, and then from there you can either select the driver's seat or the passenger seat and select what massage function you want. Now let's go further back in the menu. Let's talk about the light settings. That's a pretty cool option in here for ambient lighting. You can choose up to 64 different colors. It looks really great at night. So again, depending on whatever mood you're in, or in this case, whatever your favorite color is, you can choose whatever color you want. And let's go further back. My favorite feature here is the navigation screen. There aren't many cars that have a 12.3-inch navigation screen, so it's easy to read. There's no squinting and not being sure if you're making the right turn or not. So again, that's a pretty cool feature. The steering wheel of this vehicle is pretty nice. It has smooth leather on the top and bottom, and then perforated leather on the sides. Now, one unique feature about this steering wheel, and this is an industry first, is that there are two touch pads here, and I can use them to control either screen. So that's an industry first. You won't find that in any other car at this time. So they're really easy to use. You just simply swipe your thumb over to control each of the screens, and that's how I was able to cycle through the 12.3-inch display screen earlier in the review. And you get your traditional aluminum brightwork here with the Mercedes-Benz symbol, and then two paddles behind their steering wheel for downshifting and upshifting if you're driving in manual mode. Now the door panels are covered in black leather. You have a nice piece of wood trim here, controls for your power seating and heated seats. And then coming further down, you have an aluminum door handle, your unlock and lock buttons, controls for all four windows, and then storage on the bottom. Now sitting in the back of the E-Class, you'll find that the rear seating is pretty spacious. High qualities translate all the way to the rear of the cabin. You have wood trim on the doors, nice leather soft touch surfaces, aluminum door handles, just quality throughout. And then you also have the nice panoramic roof to look out of. Now so far, I've given you all a lot of information. So now I think it's time to try something fun. Let's do a quick demonstration of the parking pilot feature. So I'll hit the parking pilot button. It's going to search for a parking space. Alright, looks like it found a parking space. So it says press down the button on the steering wheel to confirm. I'll press it to confirm. It asks me which direction I want to park in, forward or reverse. I'll just do reverse. And then it says engage reverse gear. So I'll hit up to reverse. And it's active, so I'm going to let go of the wheel. Keep my foot on the brake. Again, I'm not touching the car. It's actually switching gear by itself and going forward. It's braking the car by itself now. And then it's reversing again. Straightening out. And then the vehicle's parked by itself. Now when it comes to tech, Parking Pilot is just the tip of the iceberg for the E300. There's also a technology called PreSafe sound. And what PreSafe sound does is emit a pink noise when the car senses it's about to be in a collision. That pink noise will cause your ears to have a natural reflex to protect themselves from any loud noises during an accident. Well, that was a brief overview of the 2017 Mercedes-Benz E300. What a beautiful car. If you like technology, this is the car for you. If you have absolutely no skill whatsoever when it comes to parking, this is the car for you. I would like to give you guys a special thanks for watching my video, and I also want to give a special thanks to Atlanta Classic Cars for allowing me to come out and do a film on the all-new E300. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.